Hey, Leatherneck Baseball fans, another episode of Davis in the Dugout. Will Thomas, Director of Broadcasting Service, alongside me is my partner in crime for this, our head baseball coach, Terry Davis. Coach, a good start to last week, and maybe not the weekend you wanted, but let's start with that Indiana State game. I mean, 10-run win, everything was clicking on Wednesday night.
Yeah, obviously a good way to start the week. Indiana State, really good program, really well coached. They're at the top of the Missouri Valley right now, and I think obviously the weekend didn't go the way that we wanted it to go, but I think that shows that what we're capable of doing. We've just got to have a little more consistency and show up like that more often than not. But, yeah, that was a good way to kick off the week, good program, and all that. So, anyway.
Yeah, we get into the weekend. Obviously, it felt like going into the weekend the door was open. Southern Indiana lost 3, so they really opened the door. You guys weren't able to go through that doorway, but you're still sitting there with a good opportunity and a chance going into the final weekend.
Yeah, we didn't take advantage of an opportunity at Moorhead, and obviously they won the game, so all the credit to them. But we got off to a rough start on Friday. Tripp has been outstanding for us for 2 years. So, but he just had one of those that you're going to have every now and then, and we weren't good enough to overcome it on Friday. We almost did. We got back into the game late, but we weren't able to overcome that. We played I was probably more frustrated with the next 2 days versus the Friday game because, again, you're going to get that type of performance and that type of outing at some point.
Yeah.
You can't go out there and be perfect every single time, and Tripp's done an outstanding job for us for 2 years. So, that was one of those is just a baseball game, but I think I get into more of – the next 2 days we lose a close game on Saturday 4-3, and we lose 8-7 on Sunday in the third game. And for me as the hitting coach, I'll go away from the head coach for a minute, but as the hitting coach, to only score 10 runs in the most offensive ballpark, not only in the league, but one of the most offensive ballparks in the country over the course of 2 games, I thought we just have to do better than that. We have to be more consistent. We have to be mentally tougher. Offensively, what does that mean? Mental toughness and toughness in general, it comes in many shapes and forms. But I think we just have to get better. And a lot of times, toughness doesn't mean it doesn't look like try harder.
Yeah.
It looks like just being able to slow the game down enough to execute what you're supposed to execute and do what you're supposed to do in the moment. If your job is to get a bunt down to the first base side, then you need to get a bunt down to the first base side. And if we have a runner at third base less than 2 with the middle back and they're giving you a run, you've got to be able to dribble a ball to shortstop and get your run. And that's just baseball. And I think, for the first time in a long time, I think we felt like we had an opportunity. At this point in the year, I think everybody's watching the scoreboard and everybody knows what's at stake. And I think we saw a door kind of wide open for us. And we responded to that with a little bit of pressure and a little bit of timidness and a little bit of tightness, and we've got to be tougher than that this weekend.
Yeah, you talk about this weekend. I mean, it kind of feels like a little bit of deja vu going into last year. Just going to Charleston, play EIU. You win and you're in to the OVC tournament. Obviously, get swept. Little Rock does their magical run. Now you're kind of sitting here in the same boat. You win, you get a loss from Southern Indiana, some things fall your way, and you're sliding in, and maybe you go on that magical run. When you look at this weekend, do you take anything from last year's, same kind of, weekend going into situation and translate to this year?
I don't think anything with the last year has anything to do with what we have in front of us this week, to be honest. It is most certainly a similar situation, but I don't really think there's anything that we learned a year ago that's going to help us out today. Every game that you go out there and play, you're trying to win the game every day. And I think what this weekend has or this week has in store for us is we've got an outstanding opportunity in front of us. And it's the last weekend of the year. It's the last regular season weekend. It's against Eastern Illinois, obviously somewhat of a rival and a good program, well coached, all the rest. But we've got an opportunity in front of us if we do what we're capable of doing. We got an opportunity to go to the postseason for the first time in a decade or so.
Yeah.
And what an outstanding weekend it could be to – we've got a lot of seniors, and this is our first recruiting class that's getting to the finish line here, and I'm so proud of those guys in so many ways as they've laid the foundation for where we're going. I'll leave that there. But we've got an opportunity to graduate, senior day, and go to the postseason for the first time in a decade. That's what we have in store for us this week, and what an outstanding Saturday that would be, is if we could check all those 3 boxes for those 19 guys that are going to walk out there on Saturday. And we're going to get out here and practice this afternoon and get the week started, and that's the goal for the week. That's what we're trying to do, is to send those guys off the right way.
Yeah, well, you stole the next question out of me, so now I got to pivot a little bit, but I'm hoping by Saturday you already know you're in. 2 wins.
Well, that would be great too. Yeah.
Thursday, Friday you get a win, 2 losses by Southern Indiana, and you guys are Saturday. Let's enjoy it.
We'll take that.
We'll enjoy it. We'll talk postseason next week, Monday. It might be, and it probably will be, from Marion, as I'm making the trip down there Monday. You'll make the trip down there Monday for the OVC tournament when you guys get in. But I want to hit on these seniors a little bit, because you mentioned it. You talk about the foundation. Do you feel this is very, quote unquote, storybook ending? This is your first recruiting class. Your goal has always been get Western Illinois baseball back to where it needs to be. That's postseason baseball. If these guys can take what they came into in 2024, leave in 2026 with a postseason appearance, how do you take that, quote unquote, storybook ending and build on it?
Well, I think there's a lot, like we mentioned, there's a lot to build on, and you could probably go back and look at the year-by-year record, and I'd be curious if we can finish this thing out at 19 or 20 and get over 20 for the first time in however long that's been. That would be knocking on 40 wins over the course of the last 2 years for this group.
Yeah.
If we can finish out like that, and that would probably be the best 2-year run in a long time. You would have to go look it up. I don't know, but just guessing. And again, that's not something that we're proud of, and that's not a place that we want to be in 3 years from now. But I think that the success and the foundation that they have laid, you got to be aware of that, and you got to understand where you came from, and this group has most certainly laid the foundation and helped us get going.
Yeah.
And I want to get this group to the postseason for them and for everything that they've done for the program. You could talk about individual guys for days, but Liam Bushy is going to leave here in the top 10 in 6, 7, 8 different categories. Mm-hmm. Single season home run record. Numerous other, I won't mention it on this because a couple of them haven't happened yet or haven't been made public yet, but we've got 3 or 4 other single season records that are going to be broken this year most likely, or have already been broken, or will be broken if we play well throughout the course of the next 3 games and next week into the postseason. So we obviously want more wins, but breaking some records and showing progress. Tip my hat to this group, and I'm just thankful for everything that they've done for our baseball program.
Well, we're excited to watch you this week and get the opportunity, hopefully, to watch you next week in a OVC tournament for the first time in over a decade. Well, first time in OVC ever, but postseason in a decade. Games will not be streamed on ESPN Plus this weekend due to some graduation and some staffing situations we have here. But you will be able to find games 1 and 2 on Mixler and a radio broadcast. The voice of Western Illinois baseball, Caden Strenz, will be on the call. Wish him a happy graduation. He graduates Saturday, as he will get to walk across the stage as well. But we'll hopefully get to talk to you next week down in Marion, as Western Illinois baseball team hopes to make the postseason tournament for the first time in over a decade. So for Will Thomas and head coach Terry Davis, this has been another episode of Davis in the Dugout. Go Necks.
Go Necks. Thanks.